Vamos a iniciar la información económica y ya lo comentábamos, en Honduras continúa la crisis institucional después de la destitución de 4 magistrados de la Corte Suprema de Justicia por parte del Poder Legislativo, esto el pasado 12 de diciembre. La coyuntura está añadiendo más dificultades a un país al borde de la ruina económica. Más información con nuestro enviado especial, Jorge Fita.
En las inmediaciones del Congreso Nacional de Honduras, donde se discute estos días el presupuesto para el año 2013, alcaldes de los 298 municipios de la República reclaman al Estado el pago de partidas atrasadas para sus ayuntamientos.
Tenemos ya alrededor de 6 meses, 6-7 meses en transferencias, y nosotros no estamos en capacidad si no tenemos el dinero que por ley le corresponde a los pueblos. Se le está negando el derecho que está en la Constitución de la República incluso, y una vez más se está pisoteando la ley del Estado.
No podemos pagarle a los proveedores, no podemos pagarle a nuestros empleados, no podemos desarrollar obras, estamos en quiebra. Las alcaldías en este momento se declaran en quiebra.
La mayoría de los gobiernos locales carecen de ingresos suficientes para cubrir los gastos públicos. Cumplir con los impuestos se vuelve imposible para el 70% de los hogares hondureños en situación de pobreza. El país es uno de los más desiguales del mundo.
Los ricos son unos pocos y la mayoría somos pobres. Entonces la capacidad de nosotros es para que los ricos que tienen que den una parte a los pobres, porque por eso vivimos en un país de pobreza. Honduras es un país rico.
Servicios básicos como la salud también están en riesgo. En hospitales y centros médicos atender a los pacientes cada vez es más difícil.
No hay medicinas, no hay medicamentos, no hay instrumentos, no existe una verdadera atención. Y lo chistoso de esto es que le quieren echar la culpa al empleado de salud. Y el empleado de salud no puede hacer, un médico no puede operar si no tiene instrumentos para operar.
A este panorama se añaden nuevas preocupaciones surgidas el pasado 12 de diciembre. El Poder Legislativo destituyó a 4 magistrados de la Corte Suprema de Justicia, en lo que ya se conoce como un golpe de Estado técnico. La sociedad hondureña teme que la actual inestabilidad institucional agrave aún más la profunda crisis económica que atraviesa el país. Jorge Fita, Telesur, Tegucigalpa, Honduras.
Gracias a Jorge Fita por este informe. Vamos.
On the 2-year anniversary of Egypt's uprisings, tear gas and smoke permeate Cairo's Tahrir Square. Police and demonstrators clashed there through the early morning as Egyptians gather in the iconic square, considered the heart of the uprisings that swept former President Hosni Mubarak from power. Protesters now, opposed to President Mohamed Morsi, aim to revive the demands of a revolution that they say had been betrayed by the president and his Islamist allies, the Muslim Brotherhood.
This is our revolution, not a revolution of destruction. We will retrieve our revolution to make Egypt and the next generations happy. Our demands are dignity, humanity, and proper salary. We don't need to live in villas.
Morsi faces discontent on multiple fronts. His opponents say he and his group are seeking to dominate the post-Mubarak order. But the Brotherhood dismisses such criticism as unfair. It accuses its opponents of failing to respect the rules of the new democracy that put the Islamists in the driver's seat through elections. The Brotherhood has decided against mobilizing in the street for the occasion, a decision that could reduce the likelihood of confrontation with opposition activists.
Okay, now to the China missile. It's a missile that is reportedly capable of destroying an American aircraft carrier. It's a so-called kill weapon, and we're not saying that it's been developed. In fact, I can't even confirm that it's being developed. But the Pentagon says it is. We're telling you what they're reporting. According to the Pentagon, China is building a missile system similar to the one you see here, an anti-ship ballistic missile, now with a range of more than 1,000 miles. The move is seen as part of an aggressive strategy, sort of new, but really in the works for quite a while, to assert certain more control over its own territorial waters. Actually, It would rather own the seas in the way that we've always owned the seas, well, at least since World War II. With us now, a former top Pentagon official during the Reagan administration, K.T. McFarland, and you all know her name. If you were around for Reagan, you know. Is this real? Because there's a budget process going on now. The Pentagon needs a budget to keep us safe, and it's ratcheting up the rhetoric. It's true for this administration. The last, they do it every time.
Yeah, and you know, annually, the Chinese have just put out their statement, their sort of white paper on what kind of a military they want in the future. And the Pentagon has done its annual report to Congress where it's talked about what the Chinese threat is. So you're right, it is part of an annual cycle, but China is clearly kind of breaking out now. China is building up its military. It's developing a blue water navy.
Explain what that means.
A blue water navy means a navy that can go a great distance from its shore and project power throughout the world.
Like ours.
Like ours. We're the only ones now that have that. The Russians, the Soviet Union, and the United States had it at the end of World War II. The Soviets has degraded. Now as Russia, there's nothing much left. We control the seas. The Chinese want the ability to do that too. They've sent 3 ships off the coast of Somalia to show that they can do it. They can project power. They're pinging us in a whole lot of different ways. Militarily, they're doing it. Just last week, when the Chinese ships harassed the American surveillance ship.
A test, you say? That's
a test. That's sort of, you know, are they going to get a reaction? The Chinese officials last week talked about an international currency to replace the dollar. The Chinese foreign minister talked about the United States. You're going to be reliable for all that debt we're giving you. Ping, ping, ping. So they want something. They know they've got us because with Obama's massive expenditures, who's going to pay for it? The Chinese. They want something for that.
All right, let's back up just a minute. If the way this would work, I mean, my understanding of it is they take out our low orbiting satellites, and that sort of it might as well be the text messaging system for the for the Navy, right? I mean, that's how we see everything. That's how we know what's going on. If they take those out and they have this missile that really can cripple an aircraft carrier, not that they would use such a thing, they wouldn't need to. That would be, I guess, in essence, another Cold War.
I don't think they're really going that far yet, but they are trying to show us that they're a world power now. You know, they've got a whole lot of, they're devoting a lot of effort to cyber warfare. They're building this blue water navy. They built up the forces opposite Taiwan on the ground. And so they're showing us they're a world power. They want to be taken very seriously.
Well, okay, they want to be taken seriously, but past that, what do they want? I mean,
look, China is going after Africa in a big way. It's using Africa and all the resources that Africa has to offer. It needs that stuff. China also needs oil from Russia. So
it's been out gobbling up oil all over the world.
Can you believe this? The Russians have just signed an agreement, a 20-year agreement with the Chinese, to give them oil at $20 a barrel because the Chinese are willing to pay up front. China is one of the only countries in the world right now which has a lot of excess money.
K.T. McFarland, thank you.
Thank you.
This story doesn't end here. The way that we're giving them money year in and year out, and the way they're beginning to own us in so many ways, that's part of David Bowder's discussion in today's Wall Street Journal, in the Washington Post and the op-ed. He will join us in a moment to talk about our trillions in deficits and what happens with them.